They say your 20s are for making mistakes, finding yourself, and spreading your wings. And I remember when we were younger and we could not wait to be grown ups. Now I'm here and, well, what do you do when life becomes real? And life is no longer about note copying, examinations, and semesters. Like, isn't it crazy that life is not divided into semesters? There are no defined holidays. And the default structure that our schools and parents have set for us will at some point no longer hold weight. And you reach a point in life where you realize you either build your own structures or turn to the losing side of life. About what our lives mean in the grand scheme of things and what we want to be remembered for after we are gone. However, as simple and as no-brainer as this sounds, there are a lot of people that still believe that your 20s are meant for exploration, enjoyment, going rogue, basically wasting a very vital point in your life before life becomes too serious. And the issue is we don't see this period of life as very important and very vital. And one thing we don't realize is that time seems to tick faster when we get older. And before you know it, you're 50 and you're wondering what exactly you did with your younger years and with your youth. Now, I am not some old, aged person of wisdom, and just like you, I'm trying to make sure I make use of this particular sensitive point of my life, and that's why I'm making this video. So let's get into it. If you're into this kind of videos, youthful lifestyle, personal development, and basically making use of your young years, you must have watched many people from different parts of the world with different cultural contexts. And that's another reason why I'm making this video. I'm a Nigerian living in Nigeria currently, and while fundamentally we are all the same, there are barriers that our varying societies present to us. For example, correct me if I'm wrong, a typical American, say person A, can most times choose whether or not to go to college and then get a job and move out of his or her parents' house. Well, here university is not a choice, and while person A is experiencing life and currently building up his life with little or no dependence, where I'm from, say person B is still trying to pass jam to get into the university. However, our societal differences are really not excuses enough because life happens to everyone and nobody is really going to ask you the background of your society. So at the end of the day, we are all just trying to make the most of our younger years, and I'm doing so from my societal context and perspective. I believe many of us have reached that point where you really care about purpose, and even if you do not know categorically, there's a longing to know what you want to use your life to do and hoping that it's something tangible that will leave some certain level of impact in the world, whether little or great. We just want to live a life of meaning, and what's better time to figure out what it is than your formative years, a time period where you define the trajectory of your relationships, your career, your life. Basically, this is the foundation of building your life outside what has been provided to you by your parents or your community. This is the point where you be your own man and you have the opportunity to chart the course of your life. And so it's really important, and that's why at this point I am getting to an understanding of the importance of learning what my life is supposed to mean. And that's a phase that a lot of people try to suppress. People going around trying to enjoy life before life becomes serious. It's not as though they do not have this feeling or they have not reached this phase. They're just trying to subject it to their lack of urgency to the subject matter. They want to just leave it to you're a certain age or till you're 30 or you're older, and they just happen to think when you're older life will just automatically arrange itself for you, and that's not the case. And how do I know that? I've seen people and heard stories and read a couple of things. It's important to find yourself young and early because life is not that long, and the earlier you find yourself, the more time you have to make impact and to make use of your life, the more time you have to make mistakes, meaningful mistakes. Another very important thing is people tell you to make mistakes a lot in your 20s, and I believe you should be making calculated mistakes, not just random mistakes that can destroy your life. But when they say your young years are for making mistakes, you can make mistakes. It's okay to make mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. But you should be able to make calculated mistakes that are learnable and that are not chaotic and dire. And it's better to learn from the mistakes of other people than yourself. So investing in yourself with knowledge and reading books, watching useful videos. I mean, you can turn your phone addiction for your betterment. And we'll get to that in a bit. But making mistakes at this age should not be something that now drives you to be reckless. It should be something that helps you see situations that don't really turn out the way you want to be, seeing them as a lesson to learn. To be able to learn from other people's mistakes, you have to explore. You have to be consuming a lot of information, and you can do that by reading books. And I personally just started becoming a book person, so it might be hard to ease into it, but start anyways. Now, with turning your phone addiction to something that can be good for you, you can double down on your phone addiction by watching useful things. YouTube is a very vast platform with a lot of information from every part of the world, and it just takes your intentionality to get yourself addicted with useful content. And even if you don't act on it directly, which is not really a good thing, it's better than watching brain rot content, which is just littered everywhere all over the internet. Use your phone addiction to your advantage. If you really love going online and watching videos, tailor your algorithm or create a new account to show you more live personal development content, videos, learn skills on YouTube. There are so many things you can learn on YouTube, especially. As unsure as the outcome of our life eventually becomes, especially at this stage in our life, I believe that all things work together for good for those that love God and are called according to His purpose. So if you are looking for purpose, there's no better place to find purpose than in Him, in God, in Jesus, in case you don't know what I'm talking about. And that is the driving force of my life, that whatever I do is for His purpose. Yeah, thank you for watching this video. I believe that eventually the channel will become at a better quality of videos and content, and will also be able to give to you more value. If you want to watch my first ever video, check it out right here. See you in the next one. Cheers.